So in Selenium WebDriver, you have to write how to write to identify an element. This is the way you have to write. Web element is an interface, and the variable name, which element, the element name you have to write. See, first element name, and this is the type of
Edit
element.
box.
Type. What type of element is that I am writing here? Then driver dot find element. So driver is the object reference, and then non-static method which returns web element type interface
Elements.
element, and I want to pass for this find element method by dot id value. So next, name, by name locator, by, so name locator. So by name locator, how to identify this? Same, see, you copy this. So open the Catalan recorder, go to next row. But in the Catalan recorder, you cannot write driver dot find element. So you are just checking whether it is recognizing or not. In the, this is the IDE format, Selenium IDE format. Okay? It is recognizing. Same way. So how to write in Selenium WebDriver? Selenium WebDriver, you have to write
Web element
Element
username
username
box equal
edit
to
box.
driver dot
name of
find
value.
element by
Element.
dot name username. Next with the class. So let me show you class. Spy on that. Spy on that element. See, you have a type class. This is the class,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So this is the class. I don't know this one will identify or not, because this is the compound.
Button.
So that's a bigger one, but yeah, you can write web element login button equal
Logic
to,
button.
so driver dot find element by dot
By dot
class
class
name.
name.
So sir, you have taken a class here, but there you are writing class name there. So this is an attribute, but when it comes to Selenium, that is going to be class name is the locator. Locator name. ID is the locator.
Locator.
Name is the locator. Class name is the locator. But you have to give here class value. So that's what I have given, class value. So, but can I identify this in the, so Catalan recorder? Yes, you can try it out. So class equal to, so class value. So that it is highlighting. Okay, you have to be careful. See, it is highlighting.
Yes.
So you can see that which element you want, that element should be identified. If it is identifying a different element, means you have to be very careful on that. So that's the by class name, how to identify the element. And so we covered ID, name, class, right? Then we have, so create account link. So you can see, you can go to this rediff.com. See, there is a create account link. How do you know, sir, this is a link? Right? How do you know this is a link?
Right.
Cursor will change to hand icon.
Right. inspect, and you
A
can
tag.
see yeah, you can see a tag, right? You can see a tag here. So the a tag, see, close a tag. Just before close a tag, you can find the link name. Just copy this link name. Okay, just copy this link name, and you can just copy this link name. Everything it is copying. Control C. You do Control C. Then go. So go to Catalan recorder. You can just move here. You can move.
Locators.
Drag and drop. This is the drag and drop. Just type link text equal to link name. You can see, or you just change it to link only here. So here it might be Selenium ID Catalan recorder is little bit different. WebDriver is different. Catalan, so this is not responding properly. Yeah, yeah, but so how to write in Selenium WebDriver is like this. Again, same web element, created account,
Create the account.
link.
Link.
See element name first, then element type, then equal to driver dot find element by dot link text, create account. The exact link name I am giving. Then you can give even partial link text also, like this: web element created account link equal to driver dot find element, so by dot partial link text, so account. Instead of complete create account, I am just giving account, so it will go and identify same element only. So that's the created account link. Okay, now that's all about how many locators we covered. ID,
ID, name, class name,
class name, link text, partial link text.
Angular.
So link text and partial link text we covered. Now let's cover CSS. So what is CSS?
Dashboard, stylish.
So cascade style sheets. Cascade style sheets. Let's understand, this is a very important topic. So are you all clear on this? How to write in Selenium WebDriver? Selenium WebDriver, you have to write in this format to identify an element. Remember, this is the find element method you have to use always to identify a single element. Find element is a return type. What is the return type of find element? Web element
Web
interface.
element.
That's a fixed, it doesn't change. Okay. So always you write like this: web element, element name equal to driver dot find element. Find element is a method. Method you know how to write, right? Parenthesis. Parenthesis inside you have to call another method, another static method. That is by class static method. So by dot the locator name, which locator you are using, and then so that is also method, right? Again you will put a parenthesis. So that parenthesis inside you have to pass a string argument. So that is the this locators. Now let's understand CSS by ID. So CSS is the another fastest locator which identifies elements very fast. So which identifies the elements very fast. So So you can identify an element by CSS selector, or so CSS selector locator in Selenium, but in there are so many ways you can identify elements in CSS. CSS by ID, CSS by name, CSS by class name, the class value, basically class attribute. CSS by class attribute, and CSS by any other attribute. You can use any other attribute. So our CSS relative locator also you can use. So I'll show you, when you are progressing how to write CSS relative locators. We'll understand that. But let's basics understand, and how to identify dynamic web elements in CSS also. That's important concept. Now, CSS by ID. Suppose your element has an ID. Okay, your element has an ID. Suppose you have an ID for this, right? So ID is there, right? So this is the ID. So how can you write this in CSS? The formula is CSS equal to tag name hash ID value. So how to write? Tag name hash
ID value.
tag name hash ID
ID
value.
value.
So or simply you can write hash ID value. So you don't need to mention even tag name also. See how I'm going to write here. So simply you can just control, you can use this also, Catalan recorder. Otherwise you can simply write CSS equal to tag name is input tag hash, so ID value. So the ID value I'm going to copy this one. So put that here. So I'm going to keep this in the down, and I'll click on this finder icon. See, it's identified, right? So that is the one way to identify the element. Or you put a control F here. After selecting this HTML, you put a cursor here, control F you do. So can you see in the bottom side it is opened a find by string selector and XPath. So did you see that? You can use
Yes,
this.
sir.
Yes, sir.
You can use this one also. Hash, so ID value. This also recognizes input. I think you don't need to write a CSS, this you don't need. Directly you can write input hash ID value. See, it is highlighting that, right? Even a tag name also you can ignore. You don't need tag name also. See, it is highlighting that. So, and also you can see here, can you see here 1 of 1? That means it is, as it is saying how many elements are identified with this locator. One only identify, that is login button. See, you can use ID, only ID you can use. You can use name, you can use class name. You can write in CSS format also. Sir, why do you need to learn all this? Any one format you need to write. If you know all combinations, if one is not working, you can try other one, right? That's why we need to learn all possible ways. So this is the fastest locator CSS. So if anybody asks what are the fastest locator in Selenium, you can give answer ID and
CSS selector.
CSS. ID and CSS. Then you can give for XPath, name, class name, like that. That's a priority order you can give. But ID is the top one, CSS also you can give same priority, it will identify very quickly. Sir, why it will identify with the CSS very quickly? Because so it traverses in the HTML in one direction only. That's why in forward direction, that's why it is very, very faster compared to other locators. So that is the how to identify. But how to write this in CSS selector in WebDriver? So here it is. Again same procedure, web element first, data type, username edit box equal to driver dot find element. This is not going to change, only changes locator, that's it. Even see this also doesn't change, only locator changes and the locator value. See, if you observe this, anywhere it is changing, only element name changes and the locator name and value changes. Nothing else, right? The method is same, find element method, and the reference variable is same. Driver we have given while creating object for the Chrome driver class or Firefox driver class or Safari driver, Edge driver, whatever the browser driver class, you are creating object, and that object reference you are giving a driver. The driver type is a WebDriver interface. That we already discussed that, and I am reusing that here again. So only your locator is changing everywhere and the locator value. So what is this locator value you are giving? And you have taken CSS selector, you cannot give ID. You have to write in CSS format. Write in CSS format. Clear, guys? So next, so by class name. See, by class name, so I want to go here, I'll go here. So why I need to go here, I'll tell you. Okay, so I want to identify one more here. Okay, let's identify this, not a problem. This one. Right click, inspect. See, I already told you this is the edit box, right? Search. So enter company or mutual fund name. So that is the one input tag. Can you see here class name? Get code input. This is a class. So I want to identify by class or by CSS. So what is the formula? So carefully read this. So our notes is very, very clearly given, guys. By class name attribute. What is the formula? Tag name dot class
Class
value.
value.
But ID has ID value. But a class tag name dot class value. See, it is not same for ID and class. So that I'll show you with that I will write. So that formula I am using. So you can write even, I don't need now in the CSS, I don't need this. I can write here itself. See that how I am writing here. Control F. But you have to put a cursor here. You have to put a cursor here first. Without clicking here, you won't get this. You have to put a cursor here and click on that and then do Control F. Okay. Then write. So what is that? Input tag. Input dot
Class value.
class value. See that? And how many elements it identified also you can see. How many it identified? One of one. So that if you want to see one more which element it is, just select and hit it. See, it is highlighting there. Even there is ID for that also. It is showing ID also. You can practice with the ID also. Okay, so that is with the class name, but this is the all single, right? There is no spaces here. Did you observe this? Class equal to get code input. Did you find any spaces in between words? Did you find any spaces between words?
No, sir.
Right? Okay. Now I am coming to second part. If there are spaces in the class, can you see here? There is a spaces right here. Submit
Yes,
hyphen
sir.
button, then there is a space. No hyphen, nothing. Button action. Can I use the same formula for that? Let's see whether it is going to work or not. Right? So input dot class value. Is it identifying?
No, sir.
It should work, right? Then why it's not working?
This is not
So
Because of
CSS.
space.
CSS. I have a CSS
CSS.
only, right? Tag name dot class value. This is the tag name, right? Tag name dot. I am following this formula. Guys, where are you guys? I am following this formula. This formula I am following. Tag name dot class value. That's what I have written here. Tag name is input dot and class value. This is the class value I have written, but it's not identifying. Why?
Because of space, sir.
See, that's correct. So whatever Kiran mentioned, that I'm going to give more clarity here. See this. Class equal to button primary large. There is a space. From underscore button hyphen flagging. So here only space is there between large and from. No other place you will find a space. Either they are connecting with underscore or hyphen, whatever it is there. But here there is no underscore anything, just a space. See, this is the one you have to read. If there is a space between class value words, then replace the space with a period, that is dot. So you replace that space with a period, then you correct that. See, tag name dot button primary large. See what I'm doing, the space I'm removing with a dot, then I'm writing this. So now what is the correction here?
Instead of space, we need to add dot.
That's
We
it.
need
Use
to
dot,
replace
sir.
the
Just
dot.
remove the
Dot.
space, put
And
a
use the
dot.
dot.
See, now it is identified. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
If the class value has a spaces in between words, directly you cannot use a value. You have to remove that spaces. Instead of space, put a dot. That's how you can write in the CSS. If you are using this formula, tag name dot class name value you are using, you have to remove that. If there is a single value, you don't need to struggle. Here it is a single value, so we don't need to struggle here. See, here is no spaces. That's why it worked directly. But when it comes to here, there is a spaces. That's why it was not working. That we fixed that by removing the space with a dot. Clear, guys, for everyone? These are important concepts.
Yes, sir.
Next. So how to identify an element with a different attributes? Now you got for ID class, but what about other attributes? So this is the formula. Any attribute, it doesn't matter. Even ID class also you can use here in this formula. So what is the formula? CSS equal to
Yes.
tag name square bracket and attribute name equal to single quote attribute value single quote close square bracket close. This is the one I was expecting yesterday. Attributes, tags, why those are important. Okay, so
Okay,
now
sir.
let's write. For this I am going to use there is a value. There is a value, right? I will use value, and also I will use name. With the name, how to write?
Class also.
Anything, even type also you can use. See, I'm going to write that. So what is the formula I told you? Tag name input.
CSS is equal to tag name.
You don't need to write CSS equal to here. Directly you can write a
Okay, sir.
tag name square bracket.
Attribute name
I will write a type equal to
within single quote
submit.
value
Single quote.
That's it.
square.
See, it is recognizing, right?
Yes, sir.
Even you can use more than one attribute also. More than one attribute. Now only I used one attribute, right? Even I can use one more attribute also. So if I want to add a value login, see how to add multiple attributes? Put one more square bracket. Then write a attribute name and give that value. This is the another way to write. So why it's not identifying value. Okay. Now let me use this one. CSS equal to it's not identifying. Type equal to submit, value equal to login. Okay.
Sir, the single code is missed for submit. Right?
Single code is missing.
Yes, sir. There is no single code for
Yeah,
submit.
that is the reason. That might be the reason. Yes.
Single quote.
Yeah. Now it is. See, even if you miss single quote also, it won't work. You have to be very, very careful. You opened, you close it. That's your responsibility. Anything, even brackets or anything, you open, you close it. Proper place. See, I opened here single quote, but I didn't close it. That's why it is not recognizing. That is the issue. See, even you can use multiple attributes also in the CSS. Okay, so that also we covered. Any attribute you can use. That's another thing. And see how to write in CSS web element driver web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, and you can write like this. So you can identify multiple attributes also like this. Now identifying the header tag CSS equal to header tag. Directly you can write a header tag. Suppose I think this is the header text. Let me show you. Oh, this is not header text. It is a div tag. Any header text is there? Yeah, there is a h4. You can see. So I can directly write h4. See, it identified that. Right? So you can write like that h4 directly CSS equal to h4. So, but how to write in Selenium WebDriver? So you have to write a driver dot find element by dot CSS selector h1 or h4, whatever it is. So by dot you have to write locator name is a CSS selector. Next. So handling dynamically changing web elements in the web pages. This is the common interview question. Without this question, there is no interview at all. How can you identify dynamically changing web elements? See the formula. Either you can use a contains means a star. So basically regular expressions you are going to use. So CSS equal to tag name square bracket attribute name star equal to single quote partial attribute value. So next, so driver dot find element by dot CSS selector. So import name star. So this is the one. Starts hyphen with caret symbol. So contains means remember this has more flexibility. You can take a partial value from the beginning or in the middle or in the end also. Only if you give partial, you can put there and it will identify this attribute value. You don't need to give complete value. That means, so dynamically changing value which is changing, you exclude that. Only unchanged portion you can give it here. That's what how it is handling dynamically changing thing. So contains means a star. Remember, star means it's a contains partial value you can give. Your attribute value you can give partially. Next, starts hyphen with. So that is a caret symbol. So caret symbol means your start attribute value. Starting part only you have to give. You cannot give second value. So that's the start attribute value means. Okay, start attribute value means. So that is the starting part of the value you have to give. So next, ends with. CSS equal to tag name square bracket attribute name dollar equal to single quotes end attribute value. So you have to find out end portion of that value. So end portion is not changing, remaining portion is changing. You can use a ends with. So these are the value ends with. Only ending part if you want to give, you can use this. So dollar symbol. So that's all. Let's go and practice this quickly and before closing for the day. So you have in this website only all the dynamically changing. So you can see here this value dynamically in this website everything dynamically changes. The name attribute value dynamically changes. See if I use this value for example, right? So if I write, so that is input tag, right? Input square bracket. So name equal to, if I write a name, it will identify. No issues. Okay, it is identifying, right? Now refresh the page.
So improve your font size. Size.
Size.
Font size improve cheyara sir. Visible in
Font size. Okay. Got it. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
See, if this time it won't recognize. This time it is not going to recognize. See that why it is not recognizing? Because that value is completely changed now. See, it's not recognizing because the value is changed now. So what is the value now? You see that what is the value currently? See the value is previous value is 487778. Now what is the value? 46105139. So it is changing dynamically. But how can I handle this? So what I will do? The changed portion I will ignore. The changed portion is this is the one. Numbers are there, always danger. You should not trust them. Okay. So they will change. Only the static portion I will give. So that time you can give here name star.
Contains or starts with.
Just give this button chk avail. That's it. Remaining thing you remove that. Always it works. This is the robust and dynamic CSS selector you can use to identify your ability. Now you refresh. Even you refresh also nothing will happen. See, and I am not going to change my, see, one match is there still it is one match is there. That is the beauty of this one. Even caret symbol you can use. That is a starts with. See, it is identifying. Even starting part you can use. So now, for example, this one, check availability, right? Availability you want to use. See, this is there is a value, availability. But the value is check space availability. But I don't need to give entire thing. So what I can do, I can put a dollar. And I can give only
Availability.
This is the end portion of that attribute. So only end part I am giving. Generally you have to give complete, but I am giving partially. So end portion. It's not name, right? It's a,
Value.
see, now it is recognizing. Value is complete check space available, but I am not giving a check, but I am giving availability, end portion I am giving. That time you have to use a dollar symbol.
Dollars.
This is the how you can identify dynamically changing elements. This is the very special interview question. How can you handle dynamically changing web elements in Selenium or in the web pages? So you have to give answer using Selenium Locator, Selenium CSS and XPath locators like contains, starts with, ends with, concepts we have to use to identify dynamically changing web elements. That's the answer you have to give. Okay, so please watch this and make a note of all these things carefully and be ready with the answers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's all. And the exercise for you is, you take any website, you have
Okay,
to
sir.
identify by ID, by name, by class name, by link text, by partial link text, by all CSS formats. So you have to write in WebDriver format, in this format.
Notepad.
You have to attach to our
Notepad.
Slack channel. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So we have to write in notepad, sir, those formulas.
No, you can write in our Slack whatever you are writing, right? That you can, or in Slack channel you write in the notepad also fine and attach there.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Take a
Okay, sir.
different website, not the one I practiced. You take a
Wrong.
different one.
You
Okay.
given examples, links, no, sir, in path.
You can use yeah, any one of them. Right.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
See
sir.
you.
Yes.